You're not being told the full truth by the same people that didn't tell you the full truth before 9/11. They were nonchalant about the threat of before 9/11, and they're doing it now. The same people are telling you now that the Muslim Brotherhood and the fall of Egypt is all about freedom. It is not. It is not about freedom. It is not about democracy. It is about an Islamic state.
Now, that was Glenn Beck on Fox News Channel back in February 2011. Beck was predicting the rise of the caliphate more than 3 years ago. He was mocked for it then. He was mocked for it for years. In fact, it was only recently that most of the media stopped mocking Beck's prediction and started believing the words coming out of the mouths of the people taking over large swaths of Syria and Iraq, poking away at Jordan, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. Well, Glenn Beck joins us now from his studios in Dallas, Texas. Glenn, I know that you've said you're bummed that this prediction of yours actually came true, but any calls of apology from your critics like Chris Matthews over at MSNBC?
No, and I don't expect them and I don't need them. But I will tell you this. I said as I was walking in the studio today that you guys are the only ones who have even called and said, okay, so that was right. So what does it mean? What's coming next? You're the only ones. I would think that if somebody who was so roundly mocked as I was, and no expert believed the caliphate was in the works or even possible, that you might stop back and go, okay, wait, we were wrong. Forget about apologies. We were wrong. What does this mean? What's coming next?
All right, so what is coming next?
I think, unfortunately, these people are all over the world. If you looked at what I was talking about with the caliphate, I said that the Islamists, the communists, the anarchists, anybody who has a hatred for the Western way of life would begin to work together loosely. I mean, it's not like they're coordinating anything, but they're starting to work together to destabilize Europe and the Western way of life. And I think that if we don't pay attention to our own communities and start calling a spade and saying, look, there's lots of great Muslims that don't want a caliphate. There's lots of great Muslims that don't want Sharia law. There are also a lot of Muslims that do want it, and many of them are living in our own countries. We have two guys in Minnesota that just went to fight with ISIS. Our own government they weren't going to until they were killed in action, but we were going to accept them back into the United States. Nothing we can do. That's insanity. It's suicide. This is the rise of fascism that we have not seen since the 1930s.
And it is a real threat that these people will come back. We've got hundreds of Canadians that have gone over. There's hundreds of Americans fighting. And they're being steeped in this ideology that says we need to take the fight to the great Satan. I want to play a clip, and I know you've seen it. It's from brought by the guys at Vice News. They went and spoke to senior people in the Islamic State and talk to them about what they want to do, and I find their words chilling.
أقول لأمريكا إن الخلافة الإسلامية قامت وبإذن الله لن تتوقف يا جبناء إن كنتم رجال فنحن على الأرض فلا تأتون بالطائرات من دون طيار فأتوا بجنودكم الذين مرغنا أنوفهم في العراق وبإذن الله سوف نمرق أنوفهم بكل مكان وإن شاء الله بالبيت الأبيض سوف نرفع راية لا إله إلا الله.
Glenn, I don't know about you, but when someone says they want to come and kill people on this side of the world and raise the flag of Allah at the White House, I tend to believe that that is what they want to do.
We had al-Baghdadi in prison in Iraq. When he left, he told our military, I will see you in New York. In 1999, I was on WABC in New York. People didn't know that I was a conservative. It was after Bill Clinton went after Osama bin Laden with the aspirin factory bombing, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And conservatives were saying at that time that was just to take his name off the front page of the news because of Monica Lewinsky. And I got on and I said, have you read the words of Osama bin Laden? There will be blood, bodies, and buildings in the streets within 10 years of this city. You have to take this man seriously. It will have his name on it. It didn't take 10 years. It took 2 years. The same thing with al-Baghdadi. We're not taking him seriously. We're not taking these guys seriously. It's not like you can go over there and just kill al-Baghdadi. This is an ideology that is spreading throughout the world. There's many reasons for it, but what I'm most fearful of is Libya has 11 planes that are now missing, just missing. I don't think
jetliners, real big planes.
These are jetliners. I mean, I can think of a few things that you could do with 11 jetliners that would cause havoc, especially a week away from 9/11. But let's just take this one. Saudi Arabia would have 90 seconds by identifying that aircraft and saying, wait a minute, it's deviated from its course. It'll have 90 seconds to take a jetliner down. You're not going to take a jetliner down in 90 seconds before it could crash into the oil fields, which would crash all of our economies. The biggest thing that I worry about is not just the terror that could come worldwide, but the terror that will come in our own communities, and not from Muslims, but from us. It's called the Bubba effect. Started talking about this in 2006. When the government starts to lie to you, cover things up, not do their job, there comes a point, and it's usually at a very big crisis, where people say, enough is enough. You guys knew about it. You're part of the problem. We have lost 6,000 foreign nationals in our country. They came in, foreign nationals that were going to college, exactly the way it happened on 9/11. We had 19. This time we've lost 6,000 in the system, as reported by NBC News just yesterday. The Blaze reported it about a year and a half ago. And when something like this happens, I'm afraid people will start to say, you know what, I don't trust the government. I think they're part of it. I think they're part of the problem. Come on, let's go take care of it ourselves. And when that happens, everything spirals out of control. We have to know what the truth is. We have to know who our neighbors are and know that we can trust our neighbors and be decent and kind and not concentrate on justice, especially vigilante justice, but justice and mercy.